Oh, ahoy! Now I know what you're thinking. What the hell am I doing with all these books? Well, my girlfriend's a big reader, and she's recently informed me that she wants to be with someone that's a lot more well-read, and if I don't start reading more books, she's gonna leave me and take the Wii with her. And, cause I love her and I wanna keep her, I'm gonna do it. I'm talking about the Wii. But damn it, I'm a gamer. There's gotta be some way, somehow, to combine the sophistication and elegance of gaming with reading.
So the 7th generation was a great time to be a Nintendo fan. After the previous two consoles failed to stand toe-to-toe hardware-wise with the competition, Nintendo decided to shift its focus towards a more casual market, and knocked it out of the park with not only the Wii, but also the DS. This change in focus towards the whole family is what made Nintendo a huge success in the mid to late 2000s. They did still put out phenomenal games for the hardcore gamers to enjoy, but they wanted to make sure Grandma didn't find herself playing Metroid Prime 3. So Nintendo created the Touch Generations marketing campaign, a way for people to look at a game and just know that this is something that dear old grandma can manage to understand what's happening and have fun with it. There's a reason I have this logo tattooed on me. Some of the more notable games underneath this branding were Brain Age and Nintendogs, but there were plenty of games that fell under this marketing too. But today, because of circumstances, we are looking at 100 classic books, Nintendo's attempt at turning the DS into an e-reader.
Released in Japan in 2007 and made its way to Europe in 2008 and then Australia in 2009, until finally reaching North America in 2010. Oh, how I bet the world was laughing at us.
So when playing 100 classic books, we hold the DS on its side to mimic a book, and we can even set our preference on which side we want the touchscreen to be. I don't think this collection is going to have any manga, so we're keeping this on the right side. The opening screen tells us that some of the literature included contained expressions or themes that may be inappropriate for young children.
That's weird. Isn't that what the ESRB is for? Oh shit, the game doesn't have one!
100 Classic Books is a super rare instance where a video game doesn't have an ESRB rating. Now, let's be honest, it doesn't need one. The ESRB was created to regulate what kind of games kids have access to, which, while at the end of the day, its effectiveness isn't really there, but in all seriousness, at no point was a kid ever at Best Buy and saying, "Mom, can I have this?" But other than that, it was always interesting to me how books have always escaped the requirement of a universal rating system. Sure, it's not visually presenting mature themes like how games and movies do, but sometimes these smutty books describe things in such detail it's hard not to visualize.
Why is it so veiny?
This book describes things slapping against other things. Stephen King's It had a child orgy, for Christ's sake.
But at the end of the day, do I really care? No, but it is just interesting to note.
Here we have the main menu showing our library and our 4 options, and hey, we even get to meet our owl buddy. I don't remember if it has a name. When I tried to look it up, it just recommended me 100 best owl books.
There's that many?
Looking at the setting, first on the top we have reading BGM.
Ew.
Oh wait, BGM means background music.
Oh.
Only 2 options for music and the rest is all ambiance. Yes, nothing sets the mood of reading like moving train. We can affect the size of our font, pick the color palette of the menu, and even change the button settings. Now listen, this is 100% one of Nintendo's laziest schemes, taking 100 free public domain books and just making a buck off them. But the amount of options they put in is nice. Feels like they might have actually tried to make a comfortable reading experience. Plus I do appreciate this 3D looking owl. The owl is here because he can help us by recommending a book by asking questions such as length of the book, time period, the genre, whether or not the author was born in England, and he throws us a recommendation. Do real owls do that? Confusingly though, this assistant is labeled as quiz, which misled me at first glance as it seemed like the game offered quizzes on the books we read. Why not just call it survey or recommendations? Ranking is an option here, but I couldn't get any info because it needed an update, but unfortunately Nintendo DS servers were shut down in 2014, so this was a dead end. I wonder how much luck I'll get on the DS wireless side of the menu. We have an option to download books, which I feel like is an important function for any e-reader to have, but again, 2023, it's not really an option here anymore. Probably for the best. I would have absolutely bitched about how if I downloaded a new book to my library, then this title would have been a fucking lie. Now, when it comes to local wireless, you can send someone a trial of the game by sending them a whole book to read. Limited options though, they only have the 3 choices of Alice's Adventure in Wonderland, The Man Who Would Be King, and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. What, you wanted Moby Dick? Should've bought the game then, dickhead! I'm assuming based on the menu you could also send and receive downloaded books from other people, which is a nice way to get grandma to socialize. Again, all these features seem limited these days, so enough with the bullshitting, I need to get some reading done, let's get to the reading! The books are all presented to you like a virtual bookshelf, which is actually something I really liked. Another neat detail here is the sizes of these books. Some of them are thicker and some are thinner, and that's reflective of the actual size of the book, and I really appreciate that detail. The arrangement is alphabetically backwards, which is a bit odd. It starts with the A's on the right and you proceed to the left, which is super weird to me. If I ever enter a household and see their books arranged this way, I'm calling the police. They are definitely housing terrorists. Now, once again, the book section is filled with public domain classics like The Odyssey, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Wizard of Oz, Pride and Prejudice, Sherlock Holmes, Phantom of the Opera, and a whole bunch of William Shakespeare. When you select the book, you can also get a quick summary about it and some information about the author. Now, you can arrange your virtual bookshelf by title, author, or genre. The game lacks the ability to save books into a separate bookshelf labeled as favorites or interests, which feels like a big thing to be missing. If you ever want to find a particular book but don't want to deal with all the scrolling, you can look up the book by answering questions. This just feels more like a manual version of the quiz option.
I'm spending way too much time talking about the menu, I'm procrastinating, I need to get some reading done!
Now, I decided to fully commit to and read The Hunchback of Notre Dame because I really like that Disney movie. So, reading is basic. You can use either the stylus on the touchscreen or D-pad to control the pages. I personally like using the stylus on the D-pad. Left or right turns the pages, the top of the screen helps access the menu, and bottom helps you scroll through the pages faster. 100 Classic Books lets us place up to 3 bookmarks on each book we read, and whenever turning the DS back on, it offers you to take you back to what you were last reading.
All jokes aside, how does the Nintendo DS function as an e-reader? It's mildly okay.
The biggest thing that a lot of people say about 100 Classic Books is less about the product itself and more on the hardware it's on. The DS's small screen is the biggest issue here. See, this is a product directed at geriatrics patients, yet I can't see that happening with these tiny screens. My mother holds her iPhone far from her face with glasses on and still has a hard time reading text messages. I can imagine how difficult it would be for her to read on this thing. But even if we use a bigger font size, it creates a hassle of having to turn the page after every sentence and a half. It makes books much longer experiences than they have to be. Like, a book like Scarlet Letter is 233 pages, yet gets stretched out to being about Jesus!
But maybe back in the day it had something going for it. E-readers weren't as prominent as they were today, so maybe Nintendo was onto something. But these days, considering that we have much more functional e-readers that provide much more comfortable reading experiences that don't strain your eyes, there really is no point to this anymore. The only reason anyone would own 100 classic books these days is because it's pretty funny to look at. It's a visual gag.
Look guys, 100 classic books on the DS. Isn't that stupid?
But let's give it the benefit of the doubt on why the DS would be a good e-reader. After you're done reading, you can play Bowser's Inside Story. Can your Kindle do that? Plus, the DS easily fits in your pocket, making it easy to take anywhere. Well, damn, that plan failed. But don't worry, I have another one. I'm just gonna keep the Wii duct taped to me at all times. I should have thought of this sooner.